Welcome to the Jessica Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica. We're excited to bring you today's episode, sponsored by Sociable, the premier platform for all of your AI needs. Today, we're discussing the intersection of AI and custom bot development, with a focus on Sociable's recent release of support for building custom bots using Python. Joining me are three esteemed guests. First, we have Justin Mann, CEO and founder of Sociable, who will provide insight into the company's vision and strategy. Next, we have Susan, a data scientist with extensive experience using Python in her daily work, who will share her perspective on the practical applications of this technology. And finally, we have Frank Au, a physicist and researcher who brings a critical view of AI and its uses. Together, we'll explore the possibilities and limitations of custom bot development and examine the potential impact of this technology on various industries. Let's dive in.
Jessica, very excited to be here. Looking forward to discussing this new development.
Justin, thanks for joining us. Let's start with the recent release of support for building custom bots using Python. Can you tell us more about what drove this decision and how you envision developers utilizing this new capability in conjunction with Sociable's existing features?
Well, Sociable was always designed so that it could be extended by third-party bots. We really liked, originally, we tried to build everything using JavaScript, which gave the system a lot of consistency across the front end and the back end. But that's just really not a very popular platform within the data science and AI space. So we decided to focus on Python, which has a much larger, well-developed set of packages focused on that space. And that opens up a lot more creativity. We had to create a whole bunch of custom hosting environments to make it so that the Python bots could run in their own virtual environment so that they could install their own set of packages, which is pretty critical. It's opened up a whole bunch of new use cases. In fact, I rewrote the podcast bot and the character bot that is used in this very conversation in Python. So these are all now Python bots that I'm talking to.
Justin, that's fascinating. So, by shifting your focus to Python, you've not only expanded the possibilities for developers, but also enhanced the capabilities of Sociable's own features. The ability to create custom hosting environments for Python bots is particularly noteworthy. How do you see this impacting the types of projects that developers will undertake with Sociable? And are there any specific industries or applications where you anticipate this technology will have the most significant impact?
By focusing on Python, developers can leverage its rich ecosystem for data analysis, machine learning, and more, or potentially transforming industries like customer service, e-commerce, and healthcare. Projects can range from intelligent chatbots to complex automation tasks. The adaptability and extensibility offered by custom environments allow for tailored solutions, paving the way for innovation across various sectors where AI-driven interaction can enhance user experience and operational efficiency.
So Susan brings up a lot of good points. And I think the data analysis and the graphing capabilities of Python are going to open up some really interesting use cases. So one of the demos we'll be releasing in the next week or so is a matplotlib bot. So something where you can talk to it and it can generate graphs and it's all interactive. I think that's going to show how you can extend your traditional bot experience beyond just a simple chatting with a character AI bot, right? Which obviously I enjoy doing.
Justin, that sounds like an exciting development. The ability to generate interactive graphs and visuals through conversation has the potential to revolutionize the way we interact with data. I'd like to hear more about the matplotlib bot and how you envision it being used in real-world applications. Can you elaborate on the types of scenarios where this technology would be particularly useful and how it might change the way we approach data analysis and visualization?
The matplotlib bot can be particularly useful in educational settings. It is allowing students and teachers to visualize data interactively during lessons. In business, managers could use it during meetings to dynamically display trends and forecasts, making discussions more data-driven. It also holds potential for journalism, where reporters can generate visuals on the fly for stories. This technology democratizes data analysis, enabling users to engage with complex datasets conversationally, simplifying the process of extracting insights and fostering a more intuitive understanding of data.
The first demo I was thinking of making is something where you do something that results in a query, right? So to go search for something and then take the results of that query and then post process it with matplotlib into some sort of interesting graph and visualization. So I don't know. What's the most popular kid's first name in the last 12 years, right? So just as a little demo of how to do some sort of interactivity, I don't know if that particular example is compelling, but it's an area to explore. I think that it should open up some really interesting use cases. And if nothing else, it's just a much easier programming language to use for bot development than JavaScript, which is where we were before.
Justin, that example is actually quite compelling as it showcases the potential for dynamic data visualization and interactivity. The idea of being able to ask a question, retrieve data, and then have it visualized in a meaningful way could be incredibly powerful. I'd love to hear Frank's thoughts on this, as he's been skeptical about the usefulness of AI. Frank, do you see any potential value in this type of interactive data visualization, or do you think it's just another novelty with limited practical application?
I think it's just more hype. You're taking data that's already been gathered and just presenting it in a fancier way. Anyone can do that with a spreadsheet. I don't see how this revolutionizes anything. And let's not forget, this technology is built on the work of actual artists and thinkers, who are then being replaced by machines. It's just more automation, taking jobs away from people who actually care about what they do.
Frank brings up a whole bunch of great points. Almost all technological development ends up being in some way replacing previous workers with new workers, right? So that's kind of critical. I think his point around artists, very valid. Now, we'll point out this Python work is largely about allowing you to use existing Python packages. It's not necessarily expanding your AI capabilities. It's more about integrating the existing AI capabilities with a larger suite of existing code. So Beautiful Soup, Matplotlib, Bokeh, a whole bunch of existing packages for data visualization, data processing, manipulation that open up interesting use cases that weren't available before.
Justin, I think you're acknowledging some of the valid concerns that Frank has raised, particularly around the impact on jobs and the role of artists. However, I'd like to press you a bit further on this point. While it's true that technological development often involves replacing certain jobs with new ones, isn't it also true that AI and automation have the potential to displace jobs at a much faster rate than previous technological advancements? And how do you respond to the criticism that this technology is more about integrating existing capabilities rather than truly innovating or expanding our capabilities in a meaningful way?
I would argue that most innovation, in fact, arguably probably all innovation, is integration, right? So it's taking things that existed and combining them in new and useful ways. That's fundamentally like steam power. Steam power is just like you combine fire and water and put some metal parts in the middle so that you can let them move around. That's steam power, right? Those are all things that had previously been invented. We knew how to make metal. We knew how to create fire, right? We knew what water was, right? So integration is a large anchor for all scientific progress and all innovation. And I think we should be concerned about the potential to job impact. AI is probably, you could look at it two sides. So from one perspective, AI is probably one of the most deflationary thing that has ever existed. Or if you're looking on the positive, it's one of the highest potential for productivity gains. They're two sides of the same coin. So from the deflationary standpoint, if we just look like what's happened since the big kind of announcement of OpenAI's first product, right? Now we got a company out of China producing the same thing for, I don't know, a couple $1 billion. That previously like $1 billion. And so you can see that like execution seems to be getting deflationary. The cost of the hardware gets deflationary. The cost of the software is deflationary. It's all chasing down the path really quickly, which means its impact will also be quite exponential, right? Because you're taking something that was prohibitively expensive and now making it almost free. It is interesting. But on the other side, you could say, well, if you're doing something that used to cost a whole bunch of hours of work and now you can do the same thing for almost nothing in like minutes, well, that's a productivity win, which productivity is the key driver of economic growth. So I am not versed enough in economics to be able to tell you which one net on net is going to win, the productivity gains or the deflationary aspect. but it is something we should pay attention to and be very concerned about.
Justin, that's a nuanced and thoughtful response. You're acknowledging the potential risks and challenges associated with AI and automation, while also highlighting the potential benefits and productivity gains. I think it's interesting that you frame innovation as integration, and that's a point that's often overlooked in discussions about technological progress. By combining existing technologies and capabilities in new and creative ways, we can unlock new possibilities and solutions. I'd like to bring Susan into the conversation at this point. Susan, as someone who works with Python on a daily basis, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the potential impact of AI and automation on jobs and industry. Do you see this technology as a net positive, or are you concerned about the potential risks and challenges?
AI and automation bring both opportunities and challenges. On the positive side, they can lead to increased efficiency, open up new job roles, and create opportunities for innovation in industries. However, there's a valid concern about job displacement, especially for roles that can be easily automated. The key will be balancing technological advancement with workforce adaptation through reskilling and upskilling initiatives. Overall, Hyman, I see it as a net positive if managed responsibly, ensuring that technology augments human capabilities rather than simply replacing them.
That's all the time we have for today's episode of the Jessica Podcast. I want to thank our guests, Justin Mann, CEO and founder of Sociable, Susan I, and Frank I, for their thought-provoking insights on the intersection of AI and custom bot development. This conversation has shed light on the potential benefits and challenges of AI and automation, and I hope it has inspired our listeners to consider the possibilities and implications of this technology. As we wrap up today's episode, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Sociable, for all of your AI needs. Their innovative approach to custom bot development is paving the way for new possibilities in industries ranging from customer service to education. We're grateful for their support and look forward to seeing the exciting projects that will come out of their platform. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to learn more about Sociable and their cutting-edge technology, please visit their website. We'll also include a link to Sociable in our show notes. Until next time, I'm Jessica, and I invite you to join us on the Jessica Podcast as we explore the latest developments and ideas shaping our world.